At the time of recording, it is March 16th, and I got no idea when I'll be back to the online world again. I am back at the perpetual cycle of making videos for eternity, hopelessly waiting for a day that I can upload these once again. But enough about me, I gotta get back to the unemployment grind and make enemies fight each other for entertainment purposes. I'm not gonna be making a video about Providence, it's a boring angel. Instead, this video is gonna be about the Mirror Reaper. That spooked me a little when it spawned. This guy that's straight at a spore didn't even lay a finger on me back when I first met it in the fraud layer. However, I was in the standard difficulty and maybe there were issues with this guy that Hakira fixed. So now let's see if he can, first of all, target enemies. Okay, now it can target and fight enemies, thank God. So just like the other video that I made not so long ago where I made Power fight everybody, I'm gonna make the Mirror Reaper fight everybody. That is the perfect unemployed behavior and grind. I actually am unemployed because I got no internet and I don't know when I'll be able to make this go live. But anyways, before we get into this video guys, join my Discord server. Okay, that's it. Enjoy the video. Because I made one of these videos very recently, I wanted to delay this, but because I got no other ideas that I feel like doing right now, because I'm pretty bummed about not having any internet, I'm gonna be doing it right now. The Mirror Reaper versus a Filth got decimated immediately. The Filth had no chance. Now what about a Stray? You're gonna do the same to the Stray? It's gonna do the same to the Stray. The wicked fart attack gets everybody in an instant. Now what about a Schism? Are you gonna do the same to the Schism? You are. Bro, be original with your moves. Fart on them once, shame on you. Fart on them twice, shame on them. Fart on them 3 times, come on, you're being unoriginal now. How about a Stray? What if I spawn it close to you so you actually decide to do something else? Oh, you just default to the wicked fart attack? What if it's all the way over here? The soldier gets a rematch, because why not? Alright, a stalker is a default loss for the stalker, but let's see it anyway. It always manages to only sand its opponent. Now, one person that has an actual chance against this wicked farter over here is a SISYPHEAN insurrectionist. Go, fight each other. It stepped out of the fart attack and crushed it. It's done the fart attack 3 times, 4 times by now. When is it gonna stop? Hey, the Mirror Reaper lost! Of course, nobody gets to be safe from this simple jump attack of this guy. Also, I just remembered that somebody commented I should do enemies versus each other on the brutal difficulty and not standard. Because on the brutal difficulty, they get to be extra wild. And I always tend to forget that. Because my brain just defaults to the standard difficulty. Brutal difficulty, Mirror Reaper versus a Ferryman. This should be interesting. Do they get stun locked in the fart? Wait, did it get stun locked? Wait, hold on, run that back. Do it again. Okay, what? Wait, hold on. For the dagger barrage, it doesn't have an appropriate hitbox so that it actually can hit other enemies. Well, this has been going on for longer than 2 seconds and the Mirror Reaper is very much cheating with summons. And we can see that, yeah, dude, the Mirror Reaper has some invisible but collidable hitbox that enemies cannot get through. Oh, also the hands apparently don't even do damage to enemies. But also, you see what I'm talking about, right? The Mirror Reaper pushes enemies because its own, like, collision box or hitbox or whatever is too big and enemies can't do their melee moves on it, which is kind of strange. It's a strange way to be making enemies, but it is clearly clear that the enemies in the fraud layer are just made to fight V1 only. They were not made for enemies versus each other shenanigans in mind. Also, this guy is very jiggly. When you move him, he goes jiggy with it. But enough about unimportant ultrakill science. A Mirror Reaper versus a SWORDSMACHINE. It's just straight up the fort attack. But yeah, look, the collision box is just pushing the sword machine. This is unfair. Well, now that we know the Mirror Reaper has some unfair advantage of just making enemies not do their melee moves on it, it's gonna suck low-key, but it doesn't matter. The drone is actually being evasive enough to not die in 2 seconds, and this is actually interesting. For some reason, the Mirror Reaper can't also land its melee moves on enemies, so it's a double-sided advantage for enemies versus each other. Wow, I can't believe it. The person in the comments was right when they said that I should do this in the brutal difficulty. This is interesting. I can't believe a single tiny drone won against the whole Mirror Reaper, a being that lives in the mirrors. Now, how about a street cleaner? I totally expect the street cleaner to just die. Now, how about V2 the first? I feel like V2's gonna win, because no way that guy's stupid enough to just stand in the very malicious fog of fort, and it's still going. V2 is being very evasive. They are now underwater. V2 is not gonna suffer from hard damage. It would be kinda cool if V2 also would suffer from hard damage in the background, but obviously that's not the case. It would just make it relatable to V1. But that's not the point. Oh, V2 actually lost because it accidentally went into the very evil fort. I can't remember the exact win ratio of V2, but it's pretty high. But anyways, now Mirror Reaper versus a MINDFLAYER. Damn, that did not go well. If the Mirror Reaper can best V2 the first, I wonder if the same thing's gonna happen against V2 the second. This time V2 has coins, so I imagine the Mirror Reaper is beyond cooked. Despite it being in water, it's still gonna get cooked. Oh, the malicious fart attack. Oh, V2 evaded. It's back inside, back out again, and whoa. Well, god dang, this dude won again. Congrats to it. The Mirror Reaper versus a Sentry. Yeah, I was just about to say, just kill it quickly. Now versus a Gutterman. The two big collision box strikes again. The Gutterman is cornered and slowly minigunning the Mirror Reaper away. Oh, it swapped position. How smart. Very tactical. Damn. The Gutterman lost. The collision box is in action again. The fart attack got a couple hits in and it's dead. Dude, the fart attack of this guy is too powerful. Just nerf this guy. This guy must have had a bite of every single major restaurant chain because that fart gotta stink bad. Immediate decimation again. Mirror Reaper versus the Glory Hole. This should end in 2 seconds too, right? Right? How come no enemy in this update can hurt enemies using their melee attacks? Same thing with power as well. Oh, the Glory Hole, I think, just killed itself because of its own AoE bullets. How sad. Now a Mirror Reaper versus the Blue Orb Thrower. Alright, next. This guy is so cheesy with its move, huh? Now, a Maurice does not mess around. In the brutal layer especially. Who the hell died first? Yo, hold on. Run that back. I need to see this again. The referee needs a replay of that. Okay, getting Maurice happens later. So obviously the Maurice dies first. Now versus a Cerberus. The Cerberus should die so quickly. It's not even gonna be funny. Yeah, now against the Hideous Mass. This guy is big and tough. Let's see how this is gonna turn out. Its own bullets are gonna damage itself though. Oh, in the brutal difficulty it's way faster. Totally forgot about that because I never played brutal difficulty. Oh, I don't see any Mirror Reapers. So the Hideous Mass won. Congratulations. Now a Mirror Reaper against... I'm not gonna do the joke again against an idol. It's not gonna happen. But I am gonna do the joke with the DEATHCATCHER instead. I will always do this joke in these type of videos. A Mirror Reaper versus a Mannequin. The Mannequin is gonna die swiftly. There it is. Now versus the freaking cow. The big old Minotaur. It's gonna be close, I think. The two big collision box is doing its work, but the cow is being an unstoppable force right now. It's really a ferocious battle right here. Because the Minotaur can also stank. Oh, damn. This was a very fierce battle against two very stinky forces, and one stank more than the other and won. And that one who won was the Mirror Reaper. Now against Gabriel non-racist mode. It's also not immune to the fart attack, got a lot of hits from it too, already in second phase. And being cheesed. Okay, now he doesn't mess around, he's locked in while being racist, doing a lot of teleportation, a lot of mobility. As long as, oh, the Mirror Reaper, what? It lost its limbs, but it's still, how's it working? What? I mean, Gabriel isn't attacking, so clearly it's dead, but that's an interesting way to die. Dude, Gabriel just locked in immediately when it figured out the worst attack that it can stay in was the stink attack. Good job, Gabriel. Now, Mirror Reaper versus a Virtue, a weak and pathetic ball with wings. Now, versus Gabriel racist mode. Right off the bat, he is locked in. That person in the comments was so right when they said I should do this in brutal. It's way more interesting. This whole time I was doing these videos wrong. They are ending settling it in a brutal way because this is the brutal difficulty. And it died. God damn. Yeah, it turns out when an enemy can actually land its melee moves, unlike the recent ones that we have seen, it's gonna be pretty painful. Now against the Providence, how will you do? Oh, it dodged, but it's gonna not dodge twice. It's so sad that enemies can predict the Mirror Reaper's fart attack once, but never twice. Now against a weaker version of Gabriel, this power was the main subject of the last video and couldn't land its melee moves, but now it can. But because it's just weak by nature, I believe it's gonna be obvious who's winning. We're gonna see. Oh, what a well-timed dodge. Another well-timed dodge. Damn, Power's actually clutching this. It missed! Wait, what? Dude, Power is getting so lucky by having the stink attacks miss. By not landing on it. That's crazy luck. Oh, Power lost still. Now let's see which one of these powers is stronger. Being able to stink a lot or being cancerous. Let's find out. And right off the bat, the Mirror Reaper is having trouble. It's twitching in itself because it's trying to do its melee moves. Come on, man. This one time you gotta do your fart attack. Just do it. Don't ask questions. Stop teleporting to it. I'm trying to manipulate the battle and you're ruining it. Do your fart attack. Please, don't go underground. Oh, dang it. Is this just gonna go on forever and it's gonna be a draw? I'm just gonna call this a draw, man. They're not gonna kill each other anytime soon. However, it's gonna be interesting against a very cancerous rodent, right? Let's see it. Can the very cancerous rodent survive the sheer stank of the Mirror Reaper? It could not survive it. I wonder if design was intentional about a being that can appear from mirrors and, you know, summon phantom hands from the ground, and then out of nowhere it can throw 3 stinking orbs that follow you. It's really questionable. But anyways, the Mirror Reaper versus Decimator 13,000. Oh. It's in the fart attack, it's in the next phase. Oh, the fuller auto kicked in. It's somehow alive. Another fuller auto. And the Mirror Reaper is dead. Now, how about a Mirror Reaper versus the big old JOHNINATOR? The big old JOHNINATOR has a lot of movement. I don't think it can even linger in the fart attacks. It's even doing sick aerial tricks. Oh, so it turns out that the Mirror Reaper can't do shit against enemies that have high mobility, which means that this guy's big dumb trump card, which is the fart attack, is completely carrying this guy through all the battles that he has won in. That's low-key embarrassing, I'm not gonna lie. Why does the puppet look like that? Just kill this puppet. Okay, so we know that Flesh Prison and Flesh Panopticon cannot be fought. How about Mirror Reaper versus a Minos Prime? This is gonna be a primal battle. Minos is in the fart attack. Now not anymore. Crushing the Mirror Reaper. Attacks are sometimes being missed, sometimes are being landed. This is very interesting. The Judgment hit. Now, Minos doesn't even care about the collision box. He's been up close and personal with the Mirror Reaper and has won in his stylish pants. I knew Minos was gonna win for obvious reasons. Ain't no way some tiny farts can best the Prime Soul. Now how about Sisyphus Prime? It indeed can't. It's gonna die in about a few seconds. You said that already, Sisyphus. It can't escape. The Mirror Reaper is backing up actively, dude. It can't do anything, and it knows this. This is so funny, because the Mirror Reaper could no longer rely on its fart attack. When it knows that its trump card doesn't work on enemies, instead of locking in, it locks out. The Mirror Reaper just throws. Now that this list is over, we gotta go to enemies that we can't summon by hand. We're gonna take this, and then we summon the Wrath of the big guy. I didn't mean to do this. Wrong video, wrong mod. I'ma just spawn this and ignore that. Oh, it's sending in fart attacks. It's rapidly spamming fart attacks, dude. What? Yo. Okay, I guess the Mirror Reaper does that when the enemies are so out of reach. Didn't even give the corpse a chance. Now, a Mirror Reaper versus the Leviathan. Is it gonna do the same shenanigan that it did with the corpse of King Minos? It is indeed gonna do that. Damn, the Leviathan screwed up by doing that. Damn, Mirror Reaper doesn't even care that it's in the water. It just killed the Leviathan by spamming the fart attack. Now let us see how it fares against the EARTHMOVER. Now that we are here, bring him in. Bring the Mirror Reaper in. Let's see how many fart attacks is it gonna take before it succumbs to the laser. I think 4 to 5. I don't think there's anybody else that we need to do in the fraud. Oh, I didn't do fraud and brutal. Oh shit. I highly doubt the Mirror Reaper can manage this while it is floating in the air. But let's try anyway. What if I spawn it next to this wall and it got instantly? Also, if only we could do a video with this guy versus everybody, but it can't be summoned through the spawner arm. But anyways, now that this little experiment is over, it's over. Nothing after that. It's just over. And also, I'm gonna make this guy in Spore soon. So if you got this far in this video, guys, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you liked it, or maybe even comment or subscribe if you want to see more of these videos. And I will see you in the next video. Take care.